Chosen one. Stop for a moment. Heaven pauses everything around you, not the algorithm, not chance, but divine orchestration. You are not here by accident. You are not merely scrolling. You are being summoned. Heaven has fixed its gaze upon you tonight. For the secret marking of the 144000 has begun, and one of those seals bears your name. You felt it, haven't you? The tug in your spirit, the strange stirring that will not let you rest, the sense that you are being prepared for something greater than you can see. That feeling is not imagination, it is recognition. Heaven is recognizing you. You are not ordinary, and you have never been invisible to God. Every hidden tear, every night you questioned why you were different, it was all recorded. You've walked through rejection that should have broken you, yet you remain standing. Why? Because you were never built to break. You were forged to carry heaven's mark. While others blended in, your spirit refused to be muted. You are one of those rare souls whose light terrifies darkness. Tonight, the heavens lean close. The angels are not silent. They are whispering your name in the throne room. While the world sleeps, divine ink is writing stories of destiny across the skies, and your name, chosen one, is being spoken among the faithful. Listen carefully. This is not coincidence. You could have ignored this message, yet something made you stay. That something is the voice of the Spirit pulling you into alignment. This moment is sacred. Heaven does not interrupt without purpose. You are being invited to awaken to who you really are. There are moments in time when eternity reaches down and touches humanity. This is one of them. You stand at the edge of a divine appointment. The earth is shifting. Destinies are being sealed. And you, yes, you are being summoned to take your place among the marked ones. If you have felt unseen, overlooked, or forgotten, hear this truth. The mark of God is not given to the loud or the popular. It rests upon the faithful, the broken, the obedient. You are one of them. The fire you've endured was not punishment, it was purification. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you prophet to nations. That word was not only for Jeremiah, it was for every chosen vessel across generations. And tonight, it echoes again for you. Heaven has already known you. Long before your first breath, your name was written in eternal ink. You were appointed, not after you proved yourself, but before you even understood your purpose. That's how deep heaven's confidence in you runs. Take this moment to breathe. The presence of God surrounds you right now, not a distant idea, but a real and living awareness that the Creator of the universe sees you. You are not lost. You are found in the divine timeline of destiny. Every scar, every delay, every betrayal was part of your consecration. Beloved chosen one, do not shrink back. Your hesitation delays the release of your promise. Heaven is waiting for your yes. When you say yes, the marking begins, not with fire upon your skin, but with light upon your spirit. The mark is unseen, yet unmistakable in the realm of heaven. It is the signal to angels that you belong to the King. You were not made for the background. You are part of the 144000, those who stand pure, unwavering, and fearless when the earth trembles. They are not chosen for status, but for surrender. You are being counted among them because your obedience outweighs your fear. Look around you. The world grows darker, but your light grows stronger. The enemy tried to silence you because he knew your awakening would shake kingdoms. He failed. You are awakening now, and nothing can stop it. If you hear this message and feel the pull, don't dismiss it. It's not emotion, it's activation. The Spirit is calling, marking, and separating. Heaven has paused time for you to hear this truth. You are chosen. You are called. You are being marked tonight. Take a deep breath. Lift your heart and let the Spirit seal what He has begun. If this message resonates deep in your spirit, like, share, and subscribe, not for numbers, but to keep the flow of this divine revelation alive. Let your comment below be your witness, your declaration that you heard heaven's voice tonight. Type the prophetic number 144000 as your sign of agreement. And let it be written that you said yes when heaven called your name. The night grows still, and the unseen movement begins. You may not feel the wind shift, but heaven's activity is unfolding across the earth. The marking has begun, not a public event, but a silent operation of divine precision. Angels move without footsteps, sealing those whose hearts have chosen truth over comfort. Somewhere in the invisible realm, your name glows with light. Chosen one. The seal is not a symbol for display, it is a covering, an identification of ownership. You belong to the Almighty. Every dark power that once whispered lies about your worth must now retreat. For the moment you are marked, authority changes hands. The old claims of darkness are void. Heaven has placed its sign upon your life. You have felt the tension rising lately, the sense that something massive is shifting. That stirring is the echo of revelation itself, unfolding quietly in your timeline. God's promises do not announce themselves with noise. They arrive as whispers that shake eternity. This is one of those whispers. Those who receive the seal tonight are not chosen because of perfection, but because of surrender. The 144000 are not those who have done everything right. They are those who have refused to bow to what is wrong. Their hearts are steady even when their hands tremble. Their love for truth outweighs the fear of rejection. Heaven watches for hearts like that. And when it finds them, the mark descends. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a quiet light descending from above, resting upon your forehead, not burning, but affirming. It is the light of recognition, the signal that says, "This one belongs to me." The world cannot see it, but the spirit realm knows it. Demons recognize it and flee. Angels see it and guard you closer. This seal is not temporary. It is not like the crowns of men that fade with applause. It is eternal, unseen ink from the hand of the living God. It is the same seal that spared Israel when destruction swept through Egypt. The same divine mark that told the destroyer, "Pass over this one. You are marked by mercy." Do not fear the shaking around you. Nations will tremble. Systems will fall. But those marked by God will stand firm. Their peace does not depend on circumstances. Their confidence flows from covenant. You are sealed not only for protection, but for purpose. Heaven's mark is an assignment. It identifies who you are, but also what you must become. When God marks a person, He calls them into alignment. Old habits fall away. False attachments crumble. and clarity begins to rise like dawn. The seal does not only protect, it purifies. It demands that you live as one who carries something sacred. From this moment, mediocrity cannot hold you. You are set apart. Remember this truth: the mark of God is not earned, it is received. It is an act of divine mercy, not human merit. You are not chosen because you are strong. You are chosen so that strength can be revealed through you. You will begin to sense subtle changes. Your discernment will sharpen. Your dreams will become vivid. And your sensitivity to truth will intensify. Do not resist it. That is the evidence of the seal working within you. Heaven's imprint always transforms the vessel it touches. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 8. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. The old commandment was more than a ritual, it was a prophecy. The sign upon the hand speaks of your actions, and the mark between the eyes speaks of your thoughts. The chosen carry divine alignment, both in what they do and in how they think. The seal of God is not just protection, it is transformation from the inside out. So, as this marking unfolds in the hidden realm, know this: your spirit is being claimed by the King. You no longer walk as one searching for belonging. You are owned by divine love. Heaven recognizes you now. Let peace settle over you like a gentle cloak. You are safe beneath the covering of the Almighty. The storms may roar, but they cannot cross the boundary of His seal. You have been identified, chosen, and hidden in the shadow of His wings. You have walked through seasons that others could not endure. Every storm, every betrayal, every moment you thought would break you, it was not punishment. It was preparation. Heaven never wastes pain. Every tear you shed in silence watered the soil where your purpose now grows. You did not suffer in vain. The fire that tried to consume you only refined you into gold. Chosen one. Understand this truth. Your pain was the prophecy that announced your destiny. When others misunderstood you, heaven was whispering, "Stay hidden. I'm still working." You wanted answers, but heaven was shaping endurance. The delay was not denial, it was design. You were being trained to carry what others could not. There were times when you thought God was silent. You prayed, but the heavens seemed closed. You waited for rescue, but none came. Yet even in that silence, heaven was speaking a different language, one of growth, patience, and faith. You were being stretched, not punished. The world applauds strength that never breaks, but heaven honors strength that bends and still believes. Every scar on your heart is a testimony written in invisible ink. Those scars tell heaven, "This one endured." And because you endured, you are now being trusted with divine authority. The enemy tried to make you believe you were abandoned. But look how you are still here, still breathing, still fighting, still reaching for light. That resilience was not born of human will. It was the evidence of heaven's investment in you. If you had not been chosen, you would have quit long ago. But chosen ones do not quit, they rise from ashes. Your pain was heaven's classroom. Through heartbreak, you learned empathy. Through loss, you learned wisdom. Through betrayal, you learned discernment. Every valley produced a virtue, and every trial birthed a treasure. Heaven looked at your endurance and said, "Now, this one is ready." As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, From the letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 18. The sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Those words are not ancient poetry, they are prophecy fulfilled in your life. You are the living proof that what was meant to destroy you has only positioned you for glory. The fire did not finish you, it purified you. The storm did not drown you, it taught you to walk on waves. The rejection did not ruin you, it revealed who truly belonged. Now, your spirit carries something holy. You no longer see pain as punishment, but as the preparation for purpose. The chosen are always refined before they are revealed. That is why you have felt hidden, because treasures are not displayed before they are ready. Heaven hid you, not to forget you, but to protect you until the appointed time. That time, beloved, is now. The marks of suffering on your soul are now becoming marks of authority. What you survived gives you the power to lift others who are still in the dark. You will speak, and your words will carry weight, because they were birthed in fire. You will touch hearts that feel forgotten, because you know what it's like to cry in silence. You are being transformed from a survivor into a vessel of deliverance. And yet, even as heaven promotes you, humility remains your crown. The chosen never boast in their scars, they glorify the one who healed them. Your power flows not from pride, but from surrender. You stand now between the pain of your past and the purpose of your future. Heaven is watching, waiting for your next step. Will you rise and walk as one refined, or retreat into the shadows of what once hurt you? The choice belongs to you. But destiny awaits your yes. There is a sweetness in your scars. Chosen one, the fragrance of crushed places rises as worship. The more you were broken, the stronger your anointing flows. Heaven calls this sacred paradox, beauty for ashes. You are walking proof that grace can turn grief into glory. So lift your head. You have not failed. You have graduated. The weight you once cursed has become your crown. What you carried in pain, you now carry in power. The marking that began in the last hour has sealed your endurance as proof of your belonging. If your heart bears witness to this truth, type "I rise now" in the comments, not as an echo, but as a decree, a declaration that the pain which once silenced you now fuels your awakening. Let those 3 words become your prophecy, your moment of alignment with the will of heaven. For when you declare it, angels record it, and the heavens recognize your voice among the chosen. You have been refined. You have been sealed, and the next chapter of glory begins now. The darkness recognized you long before you recognized yourself. From the moment light first touched your spirit, something in the unseen realm took notice. The enemy marked you as a threat, even before you knew the name of your calling. That is why your battles were never ordinary. From childhood, you carried an invisible target, because the kingdom of darkness could sense what heaven had already ordained. Chosen one, you must understand this. The warfare you face is not random. Every setback, every misunderstanding, every betrayal has been part of an ancient conflict that began long before your birth. The forces of darkness saw your potential and trembled. They whispered lies to convince you that you were unworthy, unwanted, insignificant, because if you ever discovered who you truly are, their influence over you would break. But no weapon formed against you has succeeded. You may have stumbled, but you did not fall away. You may have cried, But you did not quit. The enemy tried to bury you, not realizing you were a seed. What he thought was, your grave became your growing ground. You have wondered why the attacks were so personal, why people you trusted suddenly turned cold, why every time peace seemed near, something tried to steal it. It is because light exposes what darkness hides. The moment your spirit began to awaken, the enemy recognized a shift and sent distractions to silence it. But chosen ones cannot be silenced for long. Their very existence disrupts hell's agenda. Even now, the darkness tries to whisper fear into your heart. It reminds you of your past, your failures, your mistakes. It tries to convince you that you are disqualified. Yet what the enemy forgets is that your redemption is not earned, it is sealed. The blood of the Lamb already speaks louder than your shame. Heaven is not surprised by your scars. Heaven calls them proof. You are not in this war because you are weak. You are in it because you are dangerous to the enemy's plans. When you rise each morning, the forces of darkness sigh, because they know another day of resistance has begun. You carry within you the light of truth, and wherever truth walks, deception trembles. The Spirit of God has equipped you with weapons that cannot be destroyed: faith, prayer, endurance, and love. These are not simple virtues. They are armor forged in divine fire. When you stand in truth, you wield a sword sharper than any human word. When you love in the face of hatred, you disarm entire legends. When you forgive what hurt you, you dismantle strongholds. That is why the enemy fights you so fiercely, because your obedience destroys his influence. Do not mistake the weight of warfare for the absence of God. The battle around you is proof that heaven within you is active. The greater the resistance, the greater the revelation that is about to unfold. Every storm in your life has been permitted not to punish you, but to prove what already lives inside you. We are reminded through the writings of Paul in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Those ancient words are more than scripture. They are strategy. You are not fighting people. You are confronting systems of darkness that fear your light. Every misunderstanding, every tension, every unseen opposition is a shadow reacting to your glow. You cannot reason with shadows, but you can outshine them. The chosen do not waste energy explaining themselves to darkness. They simply keep shining. And that is what you must do. When the attacks come, remember who you are. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a vessel of glory. You carry the seal of heaven. And every force that rises against you recognizes that mark. So, do not fear when opposition increases. It is the sign that your influence in the spirit realm is expanding. The closer you get to destiny, the louder the noise of resistance becomes. But remember this: noise cannot harm light. Darkness cannot overcome it. Let your heart be still. The God who called you is still in control. Every arrow that was sent your way has been intercepted. Every trap set against you has already failed. You are walking under divine surveillance, guarded, guided, and grounded. One day, you will look back and see how every attack only refined your discernment. Every betrayal sharpened your wisdom. Every storm deepened your roots. You will realize that what the enemy meant for harm became the evidence of your anointing. So, hold your peace. Chosen one, the war is not yours to fight alone. Heaven stands beside you, unseen but undeniable. The very darkness that once chased you now fears the light that you carry. Something inside you has been stirring softly at first, like a quiet wind brushing through your soul, then louder, until you could no longer ignore it. That pull you feel, chosen one, is the sound of awakening. Your spirit is rising from slumber, remembering who it has always been. Heaven has been whispering your name in the language of conviction, in the rhythm of longing, in the quiet ache of wanting more. It happens to every chosen vessel at some point, the moment the ordinary world stops feeling like home. Suddenly, what used to satisfy no longer does. The things that once entertained now feel empty. You start craving truth, depth, and peace. This is not confusion, it is transformation. You are outgrowing the shell of your old self. The seed is breaking open so that the tree can live. You have likely noticed the small signs, your sensitivity to energy, your hunger for silence, the way your heart aches when you sense injustice. Those are not coincidences. They are proof that heaven's mark is working in you. The seal placed upon your life is awakening your divine identity. It is pulling you out of distraction, out of noise, into focus. Sometimes, awakening feels like loss because everything that does not align with your new frequency begins to fall away. Friends drift, habits crumble, priorities shift. It hurts, but it's holy. Every departure makes room for greater alignment. Every empty space becomes a new altar. The Spirit whispers again and again, you were never meant to blend in. You were always meant to stand apart, luminous in a world that has forgotten the light. The call to awaken is not easy. It costs your comfort, but it births your clarity. You begin to see differently. What others call coincidence, you recognize as divine timing. What others call luck, you know, is grace. Even your struggles start to make sense. You begin to understand that the road you walked was never random, it was refinement. The delays were detours, protecting you from destruction. The closed doors were divine redirections. Everything has been leading to this very moment, your awakening. Heaven speaks softly through the writings of Paul in Ephesians. Chapter 5, verse 14. Awake, you who sleep. Arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. This is more than a call to wake up. It is an invitation to be illuminated. The light that heaven gives is not just awareness, it is understanding. When it shines upon you, the fog lifts, confusion dissolves, and the road ahead becomes clear. You no longer stumble in the dark of uncertainty because you finally see who walks beside you. Chosen one. When light enters your life, it doesn't just reveal, it also revives. Your dreams, long buried under disappointment, start to breathe again. Your faith, once flickering, begins to burn steady. You start noticing the gentle choreography of divine order, the right people crossing your path, the perfect words arriving at the perfect time, the sudden peace that comes when you stop running from purpose. This is the beauty of awakening. It restores wonder. You begin to see life not as survival but as symphony. You realize that even the smallest act of kindness sends ripples through eternity. Every word of love, every step of obedience, every tear of surrender, All of it builds a resonance that reaches heaven's throne. So now, as you awaken, walk with intention. Let your life become light to others still sleeping. You may not carry a microphone or stand on a stage, but your very presence can shift atmospheres. Your smile can break despair. Your prayer can change outcomes. You are not small, you are strategic. And as this message reaches your heart, if you feel its truth stirring within you, nurture it. Just as a gardener tends the seed, tend this awakening with care. Feed it with prayer. Protect it with peace. Water it with wisdom. If these words have awakened something sacred in you, and you wish to keep the light flowing to help more hearts awaken, as you just have consider sowing into this light. Every share, every like, every moment you pause to support this flow is not just a digital act, it is a spiritual ripple. It helps carry the sound of awakening to souls still lost in the dark. Your generosity, whether through a kind word, a simple share, or a heartfelt gift, becomes oil for the flame. It keeps the message alive. Think of it as placing a lamp on a high hill so that others may find their way home. If your heart feels led, subscribe and stay connected to this river of revelation. Together, we are building a sanctuary of light in a weary world. Let your life say yes to the awakening. Let your actions echo the light that has been placed within you. Because when you rise, others will see, and they will rise too. You have begun to notice the patterns, the same numbers, the same timings, appearing over and over again. Clocks stopping at exact hours, receipts, addresses, page numbers, all echoing in divine rhythm. You glance at the time and see it again. That repetition that stirs something ancient in you. You smile, half wondering if it means anything. But deep down, your spirit already knows it does. Heaven is speaking in code, and your soul is decoding it. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven has a language beyond words, and numbers are one of its alphabets. Just as creation speaks through color and sound, it also speaks through pattern and sequence. You, chosen one, have been attuned to this frequency because you are among the marked. The numbers are heaven's fingerprints along your path, reminding you that you are not wandering, you are being guided. When you see these repeating signs, whether in the stillness of dawn or the hum of a busy day, it is heaven's gentle way of saying, I am still here. Keep walking. They appear not to control you, but to comfort you, to remind you that nothing is random when you are under divine orchestration. You are learning to read the language of alignment. Every 777 whispers of completion and divine perfection, every 999 speaks of endings giving birth to beginnings. Each 144 reminds you of identity and the calling of the sealed ones. But now, there is a new rhythm stirring, one that is meant for you specifically. Heaven is showing you a number that will become your signpost in this season. It will appear in ways too precise to dismiss. These numbers are not magic, they are messages. They call you back to awareness when your focus drifts. They remind you that destiny is not a distant event, it's unfolding moment by moment. Each number is a divine breadcrumb leading you back to trust. Heaven speaks again through the ancient words found in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 13. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. You shall be above only and not beneath. This is not merely promise, it is identity. The numbers appearing before you are not random signs. They are heaven's reminder that you were never meant to live beneath your potential. They tell you that you are being elevated, lifted from confusion into clarity, from wandering into wisdom. The repeating patterns are heaven's countdown to your unveiling. Chosen one. The reason you notice these signs while others don't is because your spirit is awake. It is tuned to the frequency of divine communication. You are not crazy for seeing what others overlook. The sensitive always seem strange to the sleeping. Yet, heaven trusts the awakened with its subtle signals. Every time you see those numbers, pause, whisper a prayer, acknowledge the presence behind the pattern. You will begin to sense peace, as if invisible hands are guiding you through chaos. That is the Spirit confirming your path. Do not dismiss these encounters as superstition. They are confirmation of covenant. Heaven uses symbols not to confuse, but to connect. When you pay attention to them, you strengthen your spiritual awareness. Your sensitivity increases, and your steps become more precise. Think of it this way: the numbers are like divine footsteps ahead of you, showing that the way is already prepared. When you follow them with faith, you are walking where angels have already cleared the path. This is how the sealed ones are guided by inner prompting and outer sign. It will not always make sense to your mind, but your heart will know. That small spark of recognition, that peace that passes understanding, is proof that you are in sync with heaven's rhythm. You have entered a divine flow where coincidence ceases and providence begins. The numbers will not stop until you fully embrace your identity. When they appear, it means heaven is near. They are not meant to be worshipped, but to awaken worship within you. Each appearance is a reminder that you are not alone, not forgotten, not drifting. The same God who marks galaxies with precision is marking your days with direction. So the next time you see them on a screen, a sign, or a silent thought, smile and remember, heaven speaks your language now. The Creator of all things is still guiding you personally, intimately, purposefully. Let your heart rest in that truth. Let every number be a note in the melody of your faith. You are walking in harmony with the rhythm of divine will. The same Spirit that sealed you now speaks to you through the language of alignment. And when this message touches your spirit, when you feel that familiar resonance stirring again, comment the prophetic number 555 below. Let it be your sign of grace multiplied, of transformation unfolding, of heaven's change sweeping through your life. Type it not as ritual, but as recognition that you see the signs, you hear the whispers, and you choose to follow the light wherever it leads. The air around you feels different lately, doesn't it? Not heavier, but holier. It is as though heaven itself has drawn closer, quietly wrapping you in a covering that cannot be explained. That, chosen one, is the seal. It is invisible to human eyes, but radiant in the spirit. You carry it now, not as decoration, but as protection. This seal is not a brand of ownership that limits you. It is a declaration of belonging that liberates you. It proclaims to every unseen realm that you are no longer a target, but a territory of heaven. You have crossed the line between wandering and covering. The hand of God has claimed you, and nothing can trespass what He has marked. Do you remember how vulnerable you once felt? How easily the world's chaos entered your peace? That changes now. The seal functions like a shield. It does not promise the absence of battle, but it guarantees victory through every one. The fiery arrows of fear may still fly, but they cannot pierce what heaven protects. The chosen are not spared from storms, they are sustained within them. You may still face opposition, but the difference now is unseen reinforcement. When darkness approaches, it meets resistance it cannot comprehend. Angels stand where you cannot see, and the very air around you hums with protection. The seal is not a symbol, it is a spiritual fortress. At first, you might not feel different. The world around you may still look the same, but quietly, the atmosphere begins to change. The thoughts that once tormented you lose their grip. The cycles that kept repeating start to dissolve. Where there used to be anxiety, peace begins to settle. That is how heaven's protection operates subtly, steadily, with unshakable authority. You may even notice that certain people start to drift away. Not everyone can remain in the presence of a sealed one. Those who carry hidden darkness will feel discomfort around you, because the light within you exposes what they try to conceal. Do not grieve their departure. The seal separates for your safety. It draws a line of sanctity between what was and what will be. Sometimes protection feels like isolation, but it is actually insulation. You are not being excluded, you are being preserved. God places His chosen in hidden places, not to punish them, but to prepare them. The seal works best in stillness. It thrives where surrender replaces striving. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 91, verse 5, "You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day." That single verse captures the essence of divine security. Night represent uncertainty, day represent exposure. The sealed are protected from both. You are safe in the shadows and steady in the spotlight. Whether you are seen or unseen, heaven's covering does not waver. There will still be moments when fear tries to return, whispering what-ifs into your mind. But the difference now is that fear cannot stay. The seal repels it. You will notice how quickly peace reclaims your space when you call upon the name. The mark on your life is heaven's reminder to darkness. This one belongs elsewhere. Even your dreams will shift. The nightmares that used to chase you will fade, replaced by visions that instruct and strengthen you. The seal guards your nights as well as your days. It closes the door to torment and opens the window to revelation. Sleep becomes sanctuary. This protection, however, is not passive. It invites participation. To remain under its shelter, you must live in alignment with its purpose. The sealed walk in humility, holiness, and harmony. They do not chase chaos, they carry calm. They are aware of their surroundings, but anchored in peace. When you honor the seal, its strength multiplies. Let your confidence rest in this truth. You are not defenseless. You are not vulnerable prey in a cruel world. You are covered by the same power that held back the Red Sea, that silenced the lions in Daniel's den, that surrounded Elisha with invisible armies. That power now surrounds you. So walk boldly. Chosen one. The storms may come, but they cannot claim you. The arrows may fly, but they cannot find you. You dwell under the shadow of the Almighty, and no force of darkness can break through that covering. The seal does not make you untouchable in arrogance, it makes you untouchable in assurance. It does not elevate you above others, it roots you deeper in divine purpose. The mark on your life is not for show, it is for service. It protects you so that you may protect others. Hold your peace. Guard your heart. Let gratitude become your daily garment. You are sealed, safe, and seen by the one who never sleeps. You have likely felt it for years, the quiet tug of difference. Even when you tried to fit in, something within you refused to settle. You laughed with the crowd, but felt unseen in the noise. You followed the same roads as others, but sensed that your destination was not theirs. That unease was not a flaw, it was evidence. You were never meant to blend in. Chosen one. You were meant to stand apart. To be chosen is to live with a divine contrast. You carry heaven's light in a world addicted to shadows. Where others seek comfort, you seek clarity. Where others chase approval, you chase truth. It can be lonely at times. Yes, but that loneliness is holy. It is separation for sanctification. God removes you from noise so you can hear His whisper clearly. In the beginning, that separation feels painful. You watch familiar faces drift away. Opportunities disappear, and doors close without reason. But heaven's pruning is always purposeful. Every exit is an act of protection. Every ending is an unseen beginning. You are being stripped of what hides your radiance so that you can reflect the glory of the one who chose you. Being set apart is not superiority, it is surrender. It is the willingness to walk a narrow road when others take the wide one. It is waking each day and saying, even if no one else stands, I will. The chosen are not popular, they are preserved. They are misunderstood because they move to a rhythm the world does not recognize. The separation is not about isolation but distinction. It is about identity. Heaven is drawing a visible line between those who belong to light and those who cling to darkness. You have crossed that line. You carry within you the fragrance of eternity, and the world can smell it, even if it cannot explain it. That is why some people cannot handle your presence. Your spirit reminds them of what they have forgotten. Do not apologize for your difference. It is your design. Every chosen vessel in Scripture walked a similar path. Moses alone on the mountain, Esther hidden in a palace, David singing in solitude before the crown. Separation always precedes elevation. You are in that stage now. What feels like isolation is actually incubation. Heaven is refining you quietly. Your thoughts are shifting. Your desire transforming, your voice gaining strength. The fire of purity burns away distraction until only purpose remains. Soon, what has been hidden will be revealed, not to exalt you, but to magnify the one who called you. The voice of God thundered in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 17. Come out from among them and be separate, says the Lord, and do not touch what is unclean, and I will receive you. These words are not merely instruction, they are invitation. Separation is the doorway to intimacy. The more you detach from what dims your light, the closer you draw to the one who fuels it. You cannot walk with darkness and expect to shine brightly. To be chosen is to choose differently. Even when it costs you the comfort of company, your peace is proof that you are walking the right path. Those who still live in confusion will question your calmness. They will misread your silence as distance, not realizing that your stillness is worship. You no longer chase validation because you already carry heaven's approval. This phase of standing apart is not punishment, it is positioning. God isolates his instruments before using them, not because he rejects them, but because he refines them, like a diamond pulled from darkness. You are being polished in private, so you can reflect his light in public. The time will come when your separation will make sense to those who once misunderstood you. They will see the fruit of your obedience, the peace that guards you, the wisdom that guides you, the grace that sustains you, and they will realize why you could not walk the same road. Until then, walk faithfully in your difference. Let humility be your robe and truth your crown. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Light was never meant to apologize for shining. When you stand apart, you remind others that holiness is still possible. Your courage gives others permission to be different. Your conviction becomes a compass for the lost. That is the power of the chosen, to influence without intention, to lead without a platform, to shine without seeking attention. So, walk tall in your calling. Be gentle, but unwavering. You were not chosen to compete. You were chosen to complete a divine purpose. The world needs your difference. Heaven celebrates your distinction. And even when you walk alone, you never walk unseen. You are set apart, holy, sealed, and seen. That is your inheritance. That is your identity. That is your destiny. There is a trembling in the spirit tonight, a stillness before the shift. Heaven is leaning close, listening for the sound of obedience, not the kind that is loud or public, but the quiet kind that moves mountains. Chosen one, this is your final call to alignment. The time for hesitation has passed. You stand at the threshold of destiny, and heaven is waiting for your response. You know what you have been asked to do. The instructions came softly at first, a thought, a nudge, a feeling that would not leave. It wasn't coincidence, it was command. Heaven has been speaking, but obedience is what unlocks the next step. Too often, people wait for confirmation when they already carry conviction. The truth is, delayed obedience is silent rebellion. When God speaks, hesitation becomes disobedience. You've been standing in the doorway, one foot in comfort, the other in calling. But doorways are not dwellings, they are decisions. You cannot hold both worlds forever. Either you will move forward into obedience, or you will remain where safety becomes stagnation. Heaven will not force your step, it invites it. The weight you feel in your chest when you resist the voice of truth that is not fear. It is mercy pressing in. It is heaven's reminder that the window of grace is open, but not forever. Mercy pleads while time remains. Conviction is not punishment, it is preservation. It means heaven still believes you, will say yes. The call before you may not make sense. It may require surrender of something dear, an old habit, a comfort, a relationship, a dream that was never meant to carry eternity's weight. But obedience will always cost you something temporal to give you something eternal. You cannot cling to what was and still reach for what is coming. Remember the story of Abraham. He was called to leave everything familiar and step into promise he could not see. His obedience became his map. Every step he took in faith redrew the boundaries of his future. So it is with you. The next chapter of your life will not unfold until you move. Heaven writes as you walk. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams. That truth still echoes through eternity. God does not desire your performance. He desires your participation. Obedience is not about rules, it is about relationship. It says, I trust you even when I don't understand you. Every act of obedience becomes a stone in the foundation of your destiny. Some of the storms you have faced were not attacks, they were invitations. Heaven allows pressure to push you into position. The discomfort you feel right now is not punishment, it is divine momentum. You are being propelled into purpose, but the push will only become progress if you choose to move. Ask yourself, what has God been asking of me that I have delayed? What instruction have I quietly ignored because it scared me? That is the place where breakthrough hides. That is the door waiting for your hand. When you obey, the atmosphere around you changes. The confusion clears. The heaviness lifts. And peace flows like water through every crack of your soul. Heaven always backs obedience. Even when you do not see the outcome, your faith triggers divine movement. Chosen one. Do not let fear disguise itself as wisdom. Fear says, wait until it makes sense. Faith says, move because he said so. The difference between destiny fulfilled and destiny delayed is often one simple act of obedience. There will be moments when obedience feels like stepping off a cliff, but that is where miracles hide between your step and his catch. Heaven has never failed a surrendered soul, and it will not begin with you. If this message stirs you, if your heart knows that this is your call to move, don't let the moment pass in silence. Comment, I will go, below. Let those 3 words become your covenant. Let them echo through the unseen realms as proof that your heart has chosen obedience. When you write it, you are not just typing letters, you are sealing your yes in heaven's archives. Angels record agreement. Heaven moves on surrender. This is your moment of realignment. Do not wait for another sign. You are reading it now. Every delay ends tonight. Obey and watch the world around you reshape to match heaven's blueprint. For those who say yes without hesitation, the next season will not be about survival, but about sovereignty. Your obedience will not only open your doors, it will unlock freedom for others connected to you. You are the key to more than just your own deliverance. When you move, chains fall in places you cannot see. Say yes. Chosen one. Step forward. Heaven is waiting. There is something rising inside you now, steady, bright, uncontainable. The mark upon your life is no longer silent. It is glowing. The more you walk in obedience, the stronger your light becomes. And this light, chosen one, terrifies darkness. Darkness has no language for courage. It does not understand persistence, cannot endure purity, and trembles in the presence of genuine faith. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts, not because you demand attention, but because heaven's seal on you radiates unseen authority. You have become a living lamp in a land that forgot what daylight feels like. The light within you is not a candle easily blown out. It is a sunrise. The night can delay it, but it cannot defeat it. And now, your task is to carry that sunrise wherever you go, to workplaces that feel cold, to families burdened by silence, to hearts dimmed by despair. Your very presence pushes shadows back. Do you see how the journey has prepared you for this? Every pain you endured became oil for your lamp. Every tear became fuel. The very things that once broke you now illuminate you. That is heaven's irony. Darkness feeds the very light it tries to destroy. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." You are that verse embodied. You carry divine defiance against despair. Your kindness confuses cruelty. Your hope irritates hopelessness. When others sink into bitterness, you rise in grace. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are walking proof that light always wins. Sometimes, you may wonder whether your small acts matter. A quiet prayer whispered for someone who will never know. A simple gesture of love when no one was watching. A moment when you forgave instead of retaliating. These are not small, they are seismic. Light never measures impact by applause, but by transformation. Heaven sees every flicker. Your life is a lantern hung in the corridors of time. You may never see all the faces your glow will reach, but eternity will. Every step you take in love sends ripples through unseen realms. That is why you must keep shining, even when it feels unnoticed. The unseen world is watching, and heaven keeps record. If this light that burns within you has been stirred by these words, nurturate, feed it like a sacred fire. Let your gratitude be the oil that keeps it burning. Speak words that heal, not harm. Choose peace when conflict tempts you. Remember, light doesn't need to shout. It simply shines, and everything around it adjusts. And as you feel this message warming your heart, consider this. Every share, every like, every subscription to this flow of truth is not just engagement, it is participation in spreading the flame. Think of it like passing a torch. When you share light, the darkness loses territory. Someone, somewhere, may stumble upon this message in their midnight hour, and your small act will become their dawn. If your spirit feels moved, you may also give, not out of obligation, but as a gesture of gratitude. A seed placed in light always multiplies light. Just as oil keeps the lamp alive, your support keeps this flame reaching more souls who need it. It's not about donation, it's about devotion. You become part of the mission, part of the chain of illumination that heaven started in you. Imagine standing on a hill at night, holding a single lantern. Around you, hundreds of others begin to lift their own. The horizon glows, the shadows retreat, and soon what began as one spark becomes a sea of brilliance. That is what happens when we join together to share light. Your story, your faith, your contribution. These are beams in heaven's tapestry. When you choose to support this movement, you're not helping a person, you're partnering with purpose. You're ensuring that light keeps traveling. Message after message, heart after heart. So let this be your reflection tonight. You are not just surviving the dark, you are rewriting it. Every moment you choose faith over fear, compassion over criticism, generosity over greed, the world grows brighter. Continue to walk as light. Chosen one. Continue to illuminate corners no one else dares to enter. And as you do, may heaven refill your oil, replenish your strength, and remind you daily that you are part of a divine constellation, a living star among the marked ones of God. Keep the flame alive, keep shining, and let others find warmth in your glow. There are moments in every chosen life when the call of obedience feels heavy, when your heart questions the cost, and your soul trembles under the weight of surrender. This is the valley between promise and fulfillment, the place where faith is tested, not through fire but through silence. You have walked through such moments, haven't you? Times when you wondered if saying yes to heaven meant losing everything familiar. It is here, in this sacred tension, that many turn back. They prefer the comfort of compromise to the courage of continuation. But you, chosen one, are not like them. You were not built to retreat. Heaven placed in you a resilience that defies logic. It is this resilience that has carried you through every unseen battle. Yet tonight, heaven reminds you, obedience will cost something, but rebellion will cost everything. When the heart begins to drift, mercy does not disappear. It waits, but mercy will not wait forever. There comes a time when disobedience hardens into blindness. What begins as hesitation slowly becomes rebellion, and rebellion blinds the eyes to truth. This is why heaven warns you now, not in wrath, but in love. Do not drift too far from the sound of his voice. You have been given something precious, the mark, the revelation, the assignment. To carry these without obedience is to walk with fire in your hands. The same fire that warms can also burn when mishandled. Heaven entrusts its power only to hearts that remain pure. You must guard your purity, not just in action, but in intention. The heart's posture matters more than its performance. The world around you will try to numb your conviction. It will whisper that compromise is wisdom, that blending in is survival. But compromise dulls the light, and when the light fades, the seal becomes faint. The enemy cannot steal the mark from you, but he can lure you to ignore it until it feels forgotten. That is his oldest strategy, to make the chosen doubt their calling. Guard your soul against that deception. You have been set apart for something holy, and heaven's hand is still upon you. But holiness is not automatic. It is a daily choice. Every time you say no to temptation, you strengthen your alignment. Every time you choose humility over pride, light over bitterness, faith over fear, the mark on your spirit shines brighter. As was spoken by the prophet Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6, because you have rejected knowledge, I also will reject you, because you have forgotten the law of your God. I also will forget your children. These words are not condemnation, they are caution. They remind us that ignorance is not innocence. To reject the truth once revealed is to invite blindness. But you have not been chosen for blindness, you have been chosen for revelation. Heaven does not want your fear, it desires your faith. And faith is proved through obedience. Look back at your life. Every time you obeyed, no matter how small the instruction, something shifted, peace entered, doors opened, provision appeared. Every time you resisted, heaviness followed. This is the spiritual law written not on paper but on experience. Obedience sustains the seal. Rebellion weakens it. The mark of God on your life was not placed there to decorate you, it was placed there to direct you. It is like a compass that points toward truth. Ignore it too long, and confusion sets in, but follow it faithfully, and clarity always returns. If you have wandered, do not despair. Conviction is still a gift. It means your heart is still responsive. The most dangerous place is not in sin, but in numbness. When you no longer feel the pull to return, mercy has grown distant, but you, chosen one, still feel it. That means heaven's hand has not lifted. The Spirit is gentle, but persistent. It does not shout. It waits for the willing. The next move is yours. Will you continue walking as one refined? Or will you risk the blindness of rebellion? This is not a warning meant to instill fear, but to awaken reverence. The one who marked you is the same one who shields you, and his desire is not your punishment, it is your preservation. The seal on your life will protect you only as long as you walk in agreement with it. So, guard your steps, guard your speech, and most of all, guard your surrender. Keep your heart soft, your ears open, your spirit pliable. The moment pride enters, the seal dims. The moment humility returns, it shines again. You are chosen. Yes, but chosen ones can still fall asleep if they stop listening. Let that never be said of you. Keep your light burning, your devotion alive. For those who remain faithful, the path ahead leads not into loss, but into glory that outlasts the ages. Somewhere in the invisible expanse of heaven, great scrolls are being unrolled. You can almost hear it if you listen closely, the rustling of eternity as names are revealed, assignments confirmed, and destinies sealed. This is not imagination. Chosen one, it is revelation. The record of the sealed ones is being finalized, and the ink that writes upon those scrolls is made of surrender, obedience, and faith. Heaven does not measure time as earth does. While the world watches clocks, heaven watches choices. Every decision you make adds a line to your scroll. Every moment you trust when you could have feared, forgive when you could have fought, love when you could have left heaven, records it. You are not forgotten in the bureaucracy of the divine. You are written in detail. Your name glows with meaning. There is a sacred moment, known only to heaven, when the books are opened and the sealed are acknowledged. Their names echo like melody through realms unseen. Angels recognize them instantly, their light, their frequency, their devotion. You are one of them. The seal upon your life ensures that your story is not erased by storms or altered by enemies. It stands eternal, unshaken, and clear. The opening of the heavenly scrolls is not about judgment, it is about recognition. It is the moment heaven says, "This one remained faithful." Every secret act of kindness, every private prayer whispered through tears, every unseen choice to obey, when no one was watching, it all shines upon those pages. Nothing you have endured or offered has gone unnoticed. The voice of the Lord echoes in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 20. Rejoice that your names are written in heaven. And those words are not poetic comfort, they are prophetic confirmation. Your name, chosen one, is inscribed, not in dust that time can erase, but in light that eternity protects. The same hand that carved galaxies carved your identity into his record. You do not need to strive for recognition. Heaven already knows you. There are moments in your life when you feel unseen, unheard, or forgotten. You wonder if all the effort, all the prayers, all the pain mean anything. But here is truth. Nothing done in faith ever disappears. It travels through dimensions, echoing in eternity. Every act of love builds upon your record. Heaven counts what the world ignores. When you wake, weary, but still whisper gratitude, the scroll records faithfulness under pressure. When you resist bitterness and choose forgiveness, it writes victory over pride. When you help another while still hurting yourself, it marks sacrifice born of love. You are living Scripture in motion, an ongoing testimony of God's persistence through human vessels. Do not underestimate your record. The sealed are not judged by the magnitude of their miracles, but by the consistency of their surrender. The most powerful offerings are often the smallest ones: patience in silence, kindness in chaos, purity in temptation. These things weigh heavy in heaven's scale. Each day, the scroll of your life is still open. Heaven is still writing, and angels are still observing. You are not at the end. You are mid-chapter. The story continues, and it is glorious. The sealed ones are not perfect. They are preserved. They stumble, but they rise quickly. They cry, but they never curse the hand that holds them. What defines them is not flawlessness, but faithfulness. Heaven rejoices not over the strong, but over the surrendered. Think of your life as ink that heaven uses to tell its own story. Through you, grace is revealed. Through you, mercy is illustrated. You are a living letter from the Creator to creation, written not with pen and paper, but with light and endurance. When the scrolls are opened fully, your name will not be read with shame, but with celebration. The sound will travel through eternity as music, a reminder that one human heart chose to align with heaven's rhythm. So walk with reverence, speak as one whose words are recorded, love as one whose legacy outlives them. Heaven is not watching to accuse, it is watching to affirm. Every faithful breath builds your story higher. And now, as you receive this revelation, let your spirit answer heaven's recognition. If this word resonates with your soul, if you feel the truth of it burning softly in your chest, comment the prophetic number 888 below. Let it be your act of acknowledgement, a declaration that you are part of the eternal record, that your name is not written in sand, but in spirit. The number itself is not magic, it is memory. It symbolizes new beginnings beyond completion, eternal renewal, divine cycles that never break. When you type it, you are echoing heaven's own language of eternity. You are saying, I know I am written, and I will remain faithful until the end. The scrolls are open. Heaven is recording. Your name is glowing. Continue your story well. If the earth could see what is happening around you right now, every fear would fade. You are not walking alone. The air itself hums with the movement of unseen companions, angels, messengers of light, assigned to guard the marked and guide the chosen. They have walked beside you longer than you know, moving in silence, intervening in moments you thought were coincidence. Heaven's presence has always surrounded you, even when you could not sense it. Every chosen one carries divine surveillance, not for control, but for care. You are not observed as a suspect, but as a treasure. The angels assigned to you do not report your failures, they reinforce your strength. When you stumbled, they steadied you. When you cried alone, they carried your tears like jewels back to heaven's throne. Your prayers were never wasted words, they became assignments for angels. There are things you survived that make no logical sense, accidents that missed you by inches, opportunities that arrived in impossible timing, sudden peace that descended when panic should have ruled. Those were not random. Each one was the brushstroke of unseen hands painting mercy across your timeline. You have been living in a supernatural partnership far longer than you realized. The presence of angels is subtle but unmistakable. You sense them in moments when fear loses its voice for no reason. You feel them when comfort arrives before explanation. Sometimes they whisper through intuition, through quiet guidance that feels like your own thought. As was written in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 14, "Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who will inherit salvation?" That single truth changes everything. The angels are not distant, they are deployed. They do not simply observe, they serve. They are drawn to light, attracted to faith, commanded by love. Where rebellion repels them, obedience welcomes them. The seal upon your life is like a beacon that signals heaven's hosts. Protect this one, guide this one, strengthen this one. In moments of deep exhaustion, when you felt you could not go on, you were carried. When you found courage you did not expect, it was reinforced from above. Angels do not only fight demons, they fight despair. Their warfare is not always visible, but it is relentless. Every time you choose faith over fear, they draw their swords. Every time you speak truth, they advance the kingdom's line. You are not just defended, you are partnered with heaven's army. There are angels of provision who orchestrate resources before need arises. Angels of healing who stir your body toward restoration when you sleep. Angels of wisdom who align conversations, introducing you to people meant to shape your purpose. Nothing in your journey is accidental. The marked are mapped. You have probably felt them when danger passed and you whispered, "That was close." Or when you woke from sleep, feeling peace, though the storm had not ended. These moments are the evidence of divine guardianship. The hand you could not see was the hand that shielded you. Yet angels are not to be worshipped. They are servants of the same King you serve. Their loyalty belongs to God, and their joy is your obedience. When you remain aligned with heaven, their strength multiplies around you. They move at the sound of divine order, and your surrender activates their command. A single word of faith can summon their movement. Even now, as you read this, they stand close. Some near your home, others at the borders of your destiny, forming a perimeter of peace. They do not rest because your purpose is still unfolding. They ensure that nothing premature touches what is still being prepared. The chosen do not walk by sight, but by awareness. When you live in recognition of heaven's presence, fear loses its power. You realize that what surrounds you in the unseen is greater than what opposes you in the visible. Remember the story of Elisha's servant who feared the army surrounding them until the prophet prayed, "Open his eyes that he may see." And when his eyes opened, he saw the mountains filled with horses and chariots of fire. That vision was not an exception, it was revelation. You live in that same reality now. The seal upon you does more than identify it, connects. It ties you to a heavenly network of defense and direction. Even when the path ahead seems uncertain, the guidance will come. Even when enemies plot, their plans dissolve before they begin. The sealed do not walk unguarded. So let peace settle where fear once lived. Let gratitude replace worry. You are accompanied by heaven's finest, surrounded by the faithfulness of God, expressed through his angels. You need not ask them to appear. They already know their post. Your task is to trust. Walk with calm assurance. Chosen one, every unseen wing beats for your journey. Every whisper of wind reminds you that help is near. You are never alone, not for a second, not for a breath. The air in the spirit is heavy with harvest. You can feel it if you pause long enough, the quiet pulse of urgency, the subtle acceleration in the unseen. The 144000 are not sealed for stillness, they are marked for motion. You were not chosen merely to be protected, but to participate. The seal on your life is both a shield and a summons. It does not end your preparation, it begins your assignment. Chosen one. The world you inhabit groans beneath the weight of confusion. People chase peace, but find only distraction. They hunger for truth, but feast on imitation. Heaven has heard their cry, and in response, it is sending laborers, people marked by light, purified by endurance, and fearless in purpose. You are one of them. The field is not far from you. It begins where your feet already stand. Your calling may not resemble a pulpit or a stage. The final harvest will not rely solely on sermons. It will depend on presence. The light you carry will preach louder than your words ever could. Each act of compassion becomes a seed. Each moment of truth spoken in love becomes water for thirsty ground. This is how the end-time harvest unfolds through ordinary lives, illuminated by extraordinary purpose. The Spirit spoke in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 37, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few." That statement is as true now as it was then. The field stretches farther than eyes can see, but many hesitate to enter it. Some fear inadequacy, others fear opposition. Yet heaven does not seek the flawless, it seeks the faithful. The willingness to go outweighs the readiness to impress. The moment you say, "Here I am," the equipment arrives. Grace always brings the tools required for obedience. You may feel unqualified, but remember, every vessel God has ever used began as a contradiction. Moses stuttered, Gideon doubted, Jonah ran. Yet each became part of redemption's pattern. Heaven delights in proving that weakness is not disqualification, but invitation. What you lack in confidence, God will supply in clarity. When you speak truth, you are not alone. The same angels that guard you also prepare hearts to receive you. Every conversation you enter under divine prompting is already an intersection of heaven's strategy. Someone's hidden prayer for guidance meets your obedience at just the right moment. The harvest is not random, it is orchestrated. You will recognize those moments when they come. Time will seem to slow, words will flow effortlessly. Peace will cover the encounter like a mantle. That is the mark of divine appointment. Do not underestimate such exchanges. Eternity often hides in small interactions, a message sent at the right hour, a smile that interrupts despair, a prayer whispered over someone forgotten. These are the seeds heaven counts most precious. The 144000 are not spectators waiting for deliverance. They are deliverers walking among the broken. Their mission is not to condemn, but to call forth. They walk as reminders that light still lives, that hope still breathes. Their authority does not come from titles, but from truth. Their power is quiet, yet undeniable. They are the answer to the darkness they once feared. And so are you. When you wake each morning, remind yourself that you stand in the field of destiny. Every interaction is soil. Every word is seed. The weather of your heart determines the fruit of your day. If you cultivate peace, you will reap influence. If you sow mercy, you will harvest miracles. Heaven's economy multiplies what you plant in faith. The coming days will accelerate. people will search for stability, and the marked ones will carry it. Do not shrink from the weight of this responsibility. It is honor disguised as burden. To be chosen for the harvest is to be trusted with souls. Heaven saw your endurance in private and decided it could trust you in public. Let humility anchor you. Power without purity destroys, but power with surrender redeems. Keep your motives clean, your hands open, your focus fixed. The harvest is not yours to boast about, it belongs to the Lord of the field. You are only the messenger. But what a holy privilege it is to be sent. The field awaits your footsteps. Chosen one, step into it with courage. Speak when prompted. Love without measure. Give without fear. You are part of the final symphony of salvation, the crescendo of grace before the great silence. And as you labor, remember, you do not work for reward, you work from revelation. The mark upon your life ensures that every seed you sow echoes forever in the heart of God. There is a quiet crown resting above your life, still invisible to most, but heavy with meaning. You have felt its weight in moments when others gave up, but you kept going. You have sensed its presence when peace covered you, though everything around you was chaos. The battles you fought were never random. They were the refining fires that shaped your royalty. You were not being punished. You were being prepared for your crown. The world often misunderstands crowns. They think it is about applause, about being seen or celebrated. But heaven's crown is not made of gold. It is woven from endurance. Every tear becomes a gem. Every test becomes a thread. The crown of life is not placed upon the proud. It rests upon the persevering. You have earned this moment, not through perfection, but through persistence. Your crown is not simply a reward, it is a reminder. It tells every dark force that tried to break you, you failed. It reminds your heart that though you bled, you never bowed to bitterness. The shine of your crown comes not from polish, but from scars that healed rightly. There were nights you thought it was over. You prayed through exhaustion, loved through rejection, believed when logic said to quit. Those nights were not wasted. Heaven was crafting your crown in silence, shaping it through unseen victories. And now, the time is near when what was invisible will be revealed. The Spirit spoke to the churches in the Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. Be faithful unto death, and I will give you the crown of life. That promise was not meant for saints of history alone. It was written for you. Faithful unto death does not always mean martyrdom. It means unwavering commitment until the very end. It means refusing to surrender your faith even when comfort tempts you. You have lived that. You have stayed. And heaven has noticed. Chosen one. The beauty of your crown is that it will never tarnish. Earthly crowns fade with applause, but heaven's crown shines brighter with humility. Each time you choose compassion instead of criticism, forgiveness instead of revenge, selflessness instead of pride, you polish your crown without even realizing it. But your crown is not meant to be kept to yourself. It carries a responsibility to reflect light. A crown's purpose is not to draw attention to the wearer, but to magnify the glory of the King. Your story, your endurance, your restoration, they all point to something greater than you. And as your light shines, others will find hope in your testimony. They will look at your life and realize that brokenness is not the end, it is the birthplace of beauty. You will become a mirror in which they see what is still possible for them. That is how heaven expands its kingdom through the reflection of transformed lives. If this message has found you at the edge of fatigue, hear this: the crown is closer than you think. The pressure you feel is the final shaping. Heaven never crowns the untested. Every ache you carry is proof that something precious is about to emerge. You stand in a sacred moment now, a place between refinement and revelation. This is where the crowned learn generosity. When you rise, you help others rise. When you shine, you light paths. When you share truth, you extend the kingdom's reach. If these words have stirred your spirit, if you feel your own crown gleaming quietly in response, consider helping the light travel farther. When you like, share, or subscribe, you are not performing a digital act. You are placing another jewel into the crown of this collective mission. Every share is a spark that may ignite someone's faith. Every word of encouragement in the comments becomes a thread weaving connection among the chosen. And if you feel moved to sow, to donate, to give as an act of gratitude, know this: your seed keeps the fire burning. It keeps messages like this reaching hearts still wandering in the dark. Think of it as adding oil to a lamp so that the flame never dies out. You are not giving to a voice, you are fueling a vision. Take a moment now to reflect, to breathe, to feel the weight of your unseen crown. It sits upon your head not because you demanded it, but because you endured. Let your heart rest in that truth. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below. Write from your heart. Even a simple word of thanks. Even a prayer for others awakening like you. The space beneath these words becomes sacred ground when faith speaks through it. Your crown awaits. Chosen one. It gleams not in palaces, but in hearts that refuse to quit. Keep walking. Keep shining. Keep giving. The glory written over your life is not fading, it's unfolding. There is a peace that begins to settle when you finally understand that nothing can unmark what heaven has sealed. You are now entering that stillness, the deep awareness that your destiny cannot be undone. It does not matter who doubted you, what failed around you, or how long it took. The seal of God remains unbroken. Once placed, it cannot be erased. Once given, it cannot be revoked. The seal is not fragile, it is eternal. It carries the weight of divine intention. And divine intention does not change with emotion. The same God who called you in your weakness sustains you in your strength. He does not withdraw his promise when you stumble. He steadies you so that you may rise again. What was written over your life remains, untouched by the opinions of men or the assaults of darkness. When you look back at your journey, you will see this thread of preservation woven through every season. Times when doors slammed shut were moments of protection. Times when silence filled the air were tests of trust. Even your detours were directions in disguise. You have never been outside of divine oversight, not once. There were days when you felt abandoned. Yet heaven was closest then. The seal on your life kept you from destruction when your own choices might have led you astray. You were guarded even from yourself. That is the mercy of being marked. You are pursued by purpose that refuses to let you go. We find it written in the letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? Those words are not merely comfort, they are covenant. They declare a truth that cannot be broken. Nothing external can undo what has been sealed internally. Trouble cannot unmark you. Loss cannot erase you. Fear cannot fracture you. The seal is both protection and promise, identity and inheritance. Chosen one. This is what hell fears most, not your achievements, not your influence, but your permanence. The enemy's schemes lose power once you understand that your salvation is not fragile. You are not balancing on a thread of worthiness. You are anchored in unshakable grace. That is why storms intensify near breakthrough. They are desperate attempts to make you forget what cannot be undone. Rest in this assurance. You cannot fall out of what you were born into. The seal does not flicker with your mood. It burns with God's consistency. His grip on you is stronger than your grip on Him. Even in your lowest valley, you were never without His mark. Think of the seal as light pressed into clay. When the lamp of His presence touched your soul, it left an imprint that time cannot distort. Every trial since then has only deepened its clarity. The pressure you faced did not remove the mark, it made it more defined. You carry it now like a sacred signature written across your being, belongs to heaven. Because of this, you no longer need to fear what comes next. The future is not something you must control. It is something you will unfold into. The seal ensures that every event, joyful or painful, works in harmony with your purpose. Even detours return to destiny when grace is guiding. You may not see it yet, but you are being prepared for realms of responsibility beyond this moment. The sealed ones are not just protected, they are positioned. Their influence extends beyond words, reaching into atmospheres, shifting them without effort. When you walk into a place, peace follows. When you speak, chain loosen. That is the authority of a sealed life. It changes things by existing. Let your heart rest in this truth. You do not need to strive to stay chosen. You already are. You do not need to beg for what you already bear. You carry eternity's evidence within you. So, breathe. Exhale the weight of striving. Inhale the calm of certainty. You are sealed for eternity, untouchable, unalterable, unforgotten. Every breath you take is a declaration that grace still reigns. When others fade in confusion, you will stand in clarity. When fear sweeps through nations, your spirit will remain anchored. When the noise of the world grows louder, your peace will speak more powerfully. You are the calm in the storm, the still voice amid chaos. Because heaven has claimed you. Rest. Chosen one. The seal holds. The covenant stands. Eternity recognizes your name. The night feels sacred, the kind of silence that hums with eternity, somewhere beyond the veil of sight. Heaven leans close. This is the moment everything has been leading toward, the full surrender of the chosen. You have been marked, refined, and awakened. Every word spoken until now has been preparation for what comes next. The seal on your life is complete, and your spirit stands ready. You are no longer who you were when this journey began. The fears that once controlled you have lost their voice. The doubts that shadowed your faith now dissolve in the light of understanding. You have walked through valleys of confusion, climbed mountains of revelation, and crossed deserts of silence, all so you could reach this holy stillness. Here, heaven waits for one final act, surrender. As was spoken in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 2. Now is the time of God's favor. Now is the day of salvation. Insane. Those words are not history, they are heartbeat. This moment, right now, is living scripture unfolding through you. Heaven's favor is not approaching, it is present. Salvation is not a future hope, it is a current reality. You are standing in the flow of fulfillment. Look back once more and see the path behind you, the tests that seemed unbearable, the nights that felt endless. Each one was a lesson written in pain, but sealed in grace. You were being purified, not for perfection, but for purpose. Every disappointment was a disguised instruction. Every delay was divine choreography. And now, as you stand here, the pattern becomes clear. Nothing was wasted. The surrender heaven asks of you is not the surrender of identity, but of limitation. It is not about erasing who you are, but revealing who you were always meant to be. The false layers fall away: fear, shame, comparison, striving, and beneath them emerges something eternal. The image of God reflected through your life. You will feel the shift in subtle ways. Peace will replace panic. Clarity will rise where confusion once lived. Your steps will feel guided, not guessed. Even your silence will carry weight, for your spirit will begin to speak louder than your words. You have moved from being a listener of revelation to becoming its embodiment. There is a gravity in your surrender, the kind that changes atmospheres without sound. When a heart finally yields to heaven, creation responds. You are now part of that resonance. The earth will recognize your obedience, and doors that once resisted will swing open without effort. Not because of striving, but because surrender activate divine authority. Understand this mystery. True power is not in taking control, but in giving it. The more you release, the more heaven reveals. The more you let go, the more you receive. That is the paradox of the chosen. What they surrender multiplies, and what they cling to crumbles. You may feel tears welling as you read this. Let them fall. They are not tears of sadness, but of recognition. Your spirit knows what your mind is only beginning to grasp. The waiting is over. The seal is complete. The favor is now. Take a moment to feel the quiet holiness of this truth. There is no need for words, no need for striving, just presence. You are standing in divine alignment, where heaven and earth meet inside your heart. From this day forward, you are not walking toward destiny, you are walking from it. It already lives within you. The seal is not your finish line, it is your beginning. And as you move into the world again, carrying what heaven has entrusted to you, remember, this is not a story of escape, but of embodiment. You are not leaving the world behind, you are lighting it from within. The 144000 rise not as rulers, but as reflections. They carry no weapons, only wisdom, no fear, only faith. Their surrender is their strength, and their silence is their song. You are one of them, part of the melody heaven has waited ages to hear. Be still. Chosen one. The marking is complete. The message fulfilled. Now, you walk as revelation made flesh. Chosen one. You have reached the end of this divine unfolding, but in truth, it is not an ending at all. It is the beginning of a brighter becoming. You have walked through revelation, through fire and stillness, through marking and surrender. Now, heaven watches as you rise, not as the uncertain, but as the unstoppable. The seal upon your life gleams quietly, unseen by eyes, but known in eternity. Carry this message forward. Let your light become language for those who have forgotten how to hope. When you speak, let grace echo. When you move, let peace follow. And when you feel weary, remember, you are never walking empty. You are walking marked. If this journey has spoken to your spirit, if it stirred something that words could not fully describe, take a moment to let gratitude flow. Like, share, and subscribe, not just as gestures, but as acts of partnership, tiny torches lighting the way for others still lost in the night. Leave a comment below. Even a single sentence of truth can reach a heart the algorithm will never find. And if your heart feels led to donate, know that your seed becomes light in motion. It fuels the next message, the next voice, the next awakening. You are not giving to a name, you are investing in the flame that found you. The story continues. Chosen one. The light lives on,